Hi, folks, and welcome back to another edition of Holding Court with Coach Jeff Nelson. I'm J.D. Healy, and Coach, welcome home.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
I expected a golden tan. You were out in Hawaii.
Look at this. Are you kidding? I'm super tan. No, we were inside working hard. The outcome maybe doesn't show it, but we were inside working hard.
Well, we'll talk about that too, but we didn't get a chance to actually talk about the Lobo Classic, which was another great showing. 3 games. First one was Seattle U, which tougher team. We expected them to be a kind of a tough team.
Yeah, absolutely. They were a good team. A number of Croatian players. They played good ball. They handled the ball well, and that was a good first match for us. And I was really happy with the way we played.
Yeah, and so was the crowd.
Yeah.
I think we were all real pleased at the way that one came out. Dispatched them in 3, which I think says more about how well the Lobos were playing. That Seattle team's going to go on and probably do great things.
That Seattle team has a great chance of winning the WAC. Yeah, they'll be right there with New Mexico State this year.
Come back in later that day and you face off against number 2 Texas. That one did not go the way that we wanted to, but were there some things in that you saw that you liked?
Well, first of all, let me go back. The crowd was amazing.
Yes.
I mean, it was loud, it was electric, it was fun. We had about 4,000 people, and everything about it was right. Texas is a great team. I said from the beginning I thought they could win the national championship this year. I still believe that. They beat number 9 Florida 3-1 pretty handily this weekend. And they're just loaded in every position. They're really good. And I thought 2 of the 3 games we played pretty good ball. I was a little disappointed in game 2. At the end of game 2, we had 4 blocks in a row and kind of made a nice run. And that's one thing I did see from our team, is that we're blocking the ball really well. And so that was good. We matched them at the net athletically. We didn't play as good in the backcourt as we needed to in that match.
You ended up the tournament on Saturday with a 3-0 sweep of UTEP.
Yeah, and that's kind of a not the same rivalry as State, but it's a school that's close, and you want to win those for a number of reasons. The biggest, of course, being local recruiting and stuff. And so that was nice to get in there and get a fairly handily win and get back out of there. So all in all, I was really pleased with the first weekend.
There's an old saying that you never really remember those big wins, but it's the losses that are the things that you use to build on to get better. And if it's all about getting ready for conference, this last week in Hawaii was a learning experience.
Well, and we wanted it to be a learning experience. I thought at times we played really well, but we were terribly inconsistent this weekend and needed to really shore some things up. I thought the Hawaii match, we had a couple good games, and then our backcourt really broke down. And then with St. John's is a team similar to Seattle, pretty much a foreign team, and but really good players, did a lot of nice things, very low error, and we made a lot of errors, and we lost 3 close games. And then finishing up, I actually was happy with the Oregon match. I thought we did a lot of good things. We had leads at 15 in 3 of the games. Gave up some small runs that hurt us in the end, but I felt like we really showed that we belonged with Oregon, and that was the best that we played. So it was nice to finish on a better note.
The Oregon match in particular was the one that I think us as fans, we were waiting to see how that one was going to turn out, because after the first 2, you after the game were not happy about some things, and you didn't really hold back on that, and you let the players know that you were a little unhappy about it. Look, it's early in the season, and you got to do what you got to do. I get that, but I wanted to see how they responded to it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, whatever it was, it worked, because they did come out.
I was disappointed in our play on the left side in the first 2 matches, and I was disappointed in our backcourt play. And those are things that were very strong for us in the past and last year and even in last weekend. And so I was really disappointed that we broke down at some of the basics. But I felt like we started to really get our game back against Oregon. We played a lot better. Oregon runs the fastest offense we've ever seen. And we still managed to hang in there. We won a game. We had leads in games. And they're a good team. I mean, they're in the top 20, and they belong there. They're big and physical, but the hardest part about playing them is their offense is so fast. And that was a a real adjustment for us.
Let's talk about this weekend. You first square off against Montana State. That's 7:30 on Friday.
Yeah, and I just got their film. I have film on a match of theirs against Gonzaga, and they're a team that I feel like athletically and physically we should go out and handle. We've got to, like I said, pass better and serve a little tougher and make a few less errors, but I think it's a good starter for the tournament, and I think it's a match, if we play well, we can have good success.
Saturday's the doubleheader. All the games here at Johnson Center, but Saturday the first one is against Bethune. Is it Cookman?
Cookman.
Bethune Cookman at 3 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yeah. And that's another match where we feel like we can do the things if we do the things we need to, we can get some other kids playing time. I'd like to get my backup setter, Lise Ruglin, some time and some rep setting, but you never know. I mean, we've got to go out with our best lineup and see where we land, but hopefully that's a good place. And then we finish the night with UC Irvine. Mm-hmm. So UC Irvine is a good team this year. They already have a big win, and Paul Weishoff is their coach. She's a good friend of mine. She has a background to get teams fired up for big things. She competed in 4 Olympics, won a few medals. So they have a good background there with their coaching staff and what they're doing, and I think that's going to be a really tough match and a real exciting one again Saturday night for our fans. If they have to pick one for the weekend, that's the one, because it's going to be a really good match, and I think it's one that we're going to really try and get up for.
What at this stage of the game, is still early in the season. Out of all these games, obviously you want to get wins, but what are you really, really hoping that you're going to get in terms of the formation of your team getting ready to go into conference play?
I want to get a little bit more chemistry. We struggled a little bit with that in Hawaii. I want us to be a little bit more consistent. Athletically at the net, we're fine. When we get the ball to the net, we score. We found that out this weekend against really great programs, that when we got the ball to the net, we scored at will. Our problem was we didn't get the ball to the net enough. And so I need to see that develop this weekend and next weekend, and just a little better chemistry, that we're working together. And like I said, the Oregon match, I felt like started bringing that back together. And I think that, when a team has big expectations and a lot of pressure and they don't maybe live up to that in the first couple of weeks, you got to reevaluate and take a look at yourself, not the people around you. And I think that's what, particularly before the Oregon match, people got on board and said, I need to do better, instead of everyone, we talked about everyone winning their position, instead of we got to do this as a team and that as a team. We started talking about positions need to play better and do better things, and then the whole thing will come together. And I saw that much more in the Oregon match. And so hopefully we'll carry that forward. I think this has the potential to be another really good weekend for us, and one that we really need to get, because next weekend we head off to SMU, and they had a big upset win over Oklahoma this weekend. So our schedule isn't getting any lighter.
Right. So the best thing that you could do out there, folks, is we want you to come in here and pack this gym. Be here on Friday. 7:30 is the game against Montana State. And back on Saturday for the doubleheader. The 1 o'clock game is Bethune-Cookman. And then back at 7:30, you can just go around town and do a little shopping in Nob Hill, and then come back in for the 7:30 game for the UC Irvine game. And Coach, is there anything we want to leave these fans with?
Well, I do think some kids had individual performances. Simone Henderson had another good weekend. Chantel Riddle made the all-tournament team and really took her game up a notch the last couple matches. And she struggled a little bit at the start of the season, and I think she's putting a lot of pressure on herself, but she played like the All-American she is against Oregon, and so I'm looking forward to seeing more of that this weekend as well.
Well, that's going to do it for another edition of Holding Court with Coach Jeff Nelson. Until next time, folks, we'll see you at the game.